All right, everybody. Hi there. This is Tanisha Coffee, aka the Lofty Entrepreneur here. And today we are talking about staffing strategies for entrepreneurs. So I know a lot of you out there are at different places in your business. Some of you are just starting out. Some of you are growing and scaling your businesses, and some are just trying to maintain your business, but you're not quite ready to scale. So what we're going to talk about today is some of the opportunities that you actually have in order to do that without breaking the bank. And one of my favorite strategies is actually tapping into the power of interns. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hi, Anna. How are you? Go ahead and introduce yourself for the viewers, please.
Yeah, hi Tanisha. Hi everyone. My name is Anna Borshchenko, and I'm really excited as well to talk about interns and how you can strategize your business and actually help somebody else learn and succeed in their own career aspirations. But definitely excited to be here today.
Absolutely. So I know when I was, coming up in college, I participated in several internships. So I was on, the receiving end, the experience that I was able to gain. And at the time, I wasn't thinking anything about, what the employers were gaining. And really, it depends on how internships are structured because some internships, the employer really won't gain much. Some of the, larger corporations and things like that, they have enough staff to really cover everything that they need. So having the intern there is, yes, beneficial, but not in the same way as it is for a small business owner who may not have as much capital or as much literally financial capital or human capital in order to cover all the things that they want to do. So I love to tell my clients one of the strategies that they can do is actually tap into the power of interns. And I know what some of you are thinking, if I get interns and I have to pay them, I don't have budget for that. Well, yes and no. So yes, in a traditional sense, you do typically need to have some sort of budget to pay your interns. However, there are some opportunities out there where you don't have to do that. In a traditional sense, right? Internship programs are, very structured. It's kind of work for businesses to have to actually set them up within their own company, and then they have to promote it and market it. They have to, interview people and all of that. That can be a little bit cumbersome. But today, Anna is going to tell us about a program that she has that she works with where none of that is a worry, right? So imagine that,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know,
And I know we're here sort of in the midst of December, and I know a lot of businesses are thinking, "Oh, what can I do? What are some of the goals for 2022?" And definitely utilizing internship program can definitely set you apart or set you with a strong start of the year. And Tanisha, as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, what if we business owner were to innovate the idea of internship? What if you could have sort of intern on your own terms? What does that even mean, right? So, as entrepreneurs, I mean, I'm part of that sort of group. I've had my own business for many years, and I know how hard it is sometimes to step aside and look from a different angle when you're like in minutia and kind of doing so many different things. You're not sure like where to, what to do first or what to do next, just because there's such a volume and demand of your time on many projects. But if you were to just kind of pause for a second and think of some of the things that you seem to be repeating or doing consistently, or some of the simpler tasks that demand a lot of time, like researching or creating content for your website, or thinking of a calendar that you want to release, or researching at the same time researching competitors and seeing what they're doing, or thinking of ways how you can engage new clients or stay connected with existing clients. So some of that, um, I think it's an art, right? It's not even a science. I mean, definitely science, but there's art of that as well. But if you already have some sort of idea of how you've been doing it, and you can share it with somebody else and teach them how you would like them to mimic and copy all the steps that you're already doing, that's one of the ways to engage intern. Other ways, and this is something that we've seen again and again, every business, no matter how big or small, needs a business lead list, right? You need to work with clients, you need to
Yeah.
find new clients, you need to engage people. So developing that list is a time consuming activity for any business. And again,
Right.
whichever way you do it, LinkedIn, networking groups, using some CRM system that you already have and working with existing database, cleaning it, upkeeping it, MailChimp, all the ways. So that's something as well intern can take on and really help enhance and advance, as if it's a whole separate department or whole separate person dedicated to just kind of making a certain aspect of your business more organized and aligned with
Right.
overall goals.
Right. And I want to say a lot of times when people are thinking about interns, they do often think of, oh, they're just somebody who's here to learn. Versus what I would encourage people to do is to shift your thinking, like Anna is talking about. A lot of times, the to me, the best way in particular to work with interns, because they're not going to be there forever like an employee or someone who's going to be a permanent, more permanent part of your team, like a VA might be. But if you can kind of compartmentalize some of the things that you're doing into projects, right? That's a really great way. If you think of, okay, I'm going to have an intern for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, what project can I have them execute for me that will be valuable to me as a business owner because it's completed, help me to move that project along faster, versus you try to do it on your own or put it off or wait until you can hire somebody to do it or help you with it. So I think that that's definitely one way that you really can think about incorporating these interns in there. And then when you talk about using it as a strategy for your business, not just I have an intern for the summer, as a business owner, you can think about some of those things that you talked about, some of those repetitive, type tasks, some things that you need to do on a daily, the lead generation, the keeping up with contacts, the outreach, the content marketing, things like that. Because they are repetitive tasks, some things that you can do is actually, start to stockpile a set of videos, on how to do some of these tasks, or kind of like a cheat sheet, that you start to create. So things that you do and how you do them, start to write them down as you do them. So that when you do get these interns, you're not spending every single time, every few months, trying to train somebody new on something. You already stockpile these, kind of training tutorials for the task that you're gonna have them do, so that makes it easier for you to continue on with your work, but it also makes it very simple for them to get onboarded very quickly and have a positive impact on your business, right?
Yeah, Tanisha, as you're talking again, one of the things that I'm thinking about, how do you scale a business? And this is exactly how you scale a business, right? You create structure, you create programming and planning, and then you find people who can support that and kind of work with the outlines and kind of the backbone that you create. So this would be a great practice to slowly collect all of these materials and then take an intern and oftentimes interns are really depends again on the student, depend on the intern skill set. But if interns are coming in with specific skill sets that are required for certain projects, then you can strategize and say, okay, I'm looking for an intern specifically to create graphic design content for the next 3 months. So even if the project could be just creating content, but it could be very specific in terms of moving business forward, not immediately today or tomorrow, but the continuity of business for the next 3 months. And
Right.
also for a business person, it's important to always think strategy, right? I know we all want to do obtain clients quickly and just kind of like, it seems like never ending situation, but thinking of a little bit of a strategy, what is a way that you can set up yourself successfully to continuously, so the clients or potential customers continuously come to you with questions, with inquiries, and thus generate that inflow of interest so that it's easier to get those clients solidified and actually committed to your businesses and services.
Absolutely. So I think that, I mean, that's a really powerful takeaway right there. We as business owners have to stop to take that time to create the plan for our success.
Exactly.
And if we don't, can we still have some success? Yes. But if we do, then we can really capitalize on the opportunities in front of us, whether it's, just in general, not dealing with, kind of the intern situation, but most certainly when it comes to having those extra hands. I mean, that can be absolutely invaluable. Now, I wanted to kind of talk about, from your perspective, some strategies for trying to match with an ideal intern. So some of the things that as a business owner you need to think through, have clarity on, in order to be able to communicate that to help match you with a good intern.
Yeah, that's a great question because it seems like a lot of people saying yes, yes, yes. I want help me. And I oversee and manage internship program, and we over the last 5 years we placed about 7,000 students with about 400 business partners. So really successful kind of dynamic in finding interns for specific opportunities. So one of the successes. Kind of that I see from kind of like businesses that are engaging with interns. So you do need to define specific project and also be kind of on top of the timeline, right? So you do need to know how much, time a certain action and activity and project would take. And this way it would be easier to assign work to anyone, but specifically to interns. Because again, as Tanisha was saying, interns are not your permanent helper, not your virtual assistant per se. Interns are there for a very specific time set, unless you would like to bring them on for more work, but very specific time frame. They are there to help the business move forward. I think that's the best way to look at it. So thinking, we are, let's say, in December right now. If I were to bring on an intern January 1st, let's say for the next 2 months or so, from January to February, what are the needs of my business? And I can start thinking, but okay, it's the beginning of the year. I need to kind of engage all the folks from last year. I want to strategize and think about, some of the ways that maybe I haven't got an opportunity to connect with people and kind of re-engage that. So maybe that's my strategy. Thinking January being that month where I'm re-engaging with everyone from past year, checking in, making sure I have their accurate information, and thinking about that. So if that's the general sort of project and outline for the timeline of the year, then you kind of start breaking it down. What are some of the ways I can do it? What is it that I already have? What have I done before? So you can kind of create a couple of bullet points, and there you have it. You already have a plan that somebody else can follow. So ensuring that you have enough time to share and assign tasks and check on completion of tasks is important.
Right.
Also, it's important to know what it is that you want to accomplish, right? Intern has a capacity as well. You can't offload your whole business and your whole success to the intern. So understanding that it's a helping hand in a way is important, because this way then you can say, oh, I have additional helping hand. This hand can help me do this while I do all other tasks. So
Right.
being realistic with expectations, and also kind of excited about new talent, right? When you bring somebody new, somebody younger potentially, they bring a lot of innate knowledge that you might not have. And you kind of have to be open in tapping into it and, finding out some of the newer ways that things can be done and incorporating them into your business as well. So
Right.
there's definitely lots I can talk about on what makes what makes somebody successful in hosting an intern and having an intern, but it all comes down to your time availability, but pretty much like more zooming in into what needs to be done now, or for the duration of the time that the intern is with working with your organization.
Right. I mean, that makes a huge difference in the productivity, because if you're not prepared, if you're not ready, if you don't know what you want them to do, then they're certainly not going to know what to do. But they're still there. They're still there for the time that they're supposed to be there. So that's hugely important to really, really think through those points.
Yeah, Tanisha, and earlier you were talking about having an intern in a corporate setting in a large organization, and that's what kind of happens with interns in a large organization. Everybody wants to have an internship program, or a lot of businesses do, and sometimes it's not detailed and specific enough, and intern is just there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For smaller businesses, intern can be such a help because it's a specific help for specific tasks. So that's just kind of like the range of where interns can fall. Interns can be just present there, right? Like a flower on the wall. Well, flower on the wall that I have behind me, or they can actually be, that engine that moves the business forward.
And so that absolutely. So what I want to do is I want to call out to the people some of the things that you said. So as a small business owner, what I hear most often, the challenges is that lead generation, right? So, what tasks are the most challenging for you? What are you not doing enough of because your time is split? Think about having the interns take that on. Maybe it's making calls, maybe it is making those lists, maybe it is sending out more personal emails to do those touches on those past customers. They're all things that are very simple that typically, regardless of age, experience, skill level, these are things that the person can do. Now, there does become a caveat, right? Because in some internship programs, when you're paying them, they're coming in, it's more of a you've chosen them process. I think people tend to have a higher expectation of the intern and what they're going to do, and they feel like the intern is an employee, but that's not the case. And so what are your tips for people kind of in their minds, keeping it separate and understanding that, yes, they are working for you, but they are not an employee. So you can't quite drive them, have necessarily the same expectations. Maybe you need a little more patience. What are some tips for kind of being in the right mindset?
I think level setting expectations is critical. And I think it's critical no matter who you bring on with your company, because no one will care for your business the way that you do. No one will have such passion and dedication as you do, and vision as well. So I think communication is critical, right? So it's critical to communicate exact intent for a specific role, for a specific person, right? So if you sometimes what happens, people bring in interns. In reality, they need to hire someone either full-time or for a very specific role, because it's so demanding and it requires so much time to actually deliver properly on what's expected. So just kind of make sure that when you're considering intern, kind of think about alignment of expectations. And if you are a small business and you're just growing and you're just starting, or you already have a small kind of base of customers, kind of think about strategically, where do you need specific help? And those are the areas where it would be nice to bring an intern, not where you have, a large number of needs and a whole time person is needed.
Right. They're not going to be there to be able to kind of just solve all your, business problems and make everything right and, turn everything around. So I also want to talk about basically being able to pivot, right? Because as an entrepreneur, that's a skill that you always need to have. But when you're working with an intern, again, you're talking about those expectations, certain things that you want them to do and maybe operate at a certain level. But sometimes that doesn't always happen. That's not possible. just because of maybe their skill set, maybe because of your time or lack of time to be able to train them properly in order to, excel as you need them to. So I think it's really important for people to also be able to kind of pivot those interns to other tasks. So if you're planning to have an intern, when you're thinking about all of the different options of jobs and tasks that the intern can do, you should have more than one. You should have kind of a backup project or something like that in order to still make use and be have the intern be beneficial to your business, even if they may not be as helpful as you would like them to be in your primary or your first choice kind of project, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Oftentimes, when employers are kind of matched with interns, or even you interview an intern and then you decide to bring them on, interns have any person, they have a lot of skills, right? It's a treasure box, and sometimes, assuming interns are still young and still figuring their way around career pathways and things like that, it might not be easy for them yet to express their skills clearly, or what it is that they know what to do, how to do, and what to do. So oftentimes a lot of employers take on intern, they assign certain tasks, employers do that, they interns complete them well, but then all of a sudden there's like, oh, what else can you do? An intern can, for example, edit videos and create content in the way that employer never thought intern can actually do, have the skills to do it. And then all of a sudden, you hit this superstar button where students are blossoming, showing off the skill sets in the best possible light, and employers excited because this is something that was added bonus, unexpected. So it's always good to be personable and human with the person you're working with, even in the virtual setting,
Mhm.
and really understand passions that people have, maybe through just a very casual conversation, and maybe not one, kind of checking in how things are going, how's school, what are you learning, what are you studying, what do you like, what classes you seem to be doing really well. And through those conversations you can actually discover the true strength that a lot of interns have. And at the same time, again, as business owners, you have multiple projects going on at the same time. So oftentimes, even though you had an idea that you wanted a student to complete a certain project, maybe pivoting that and giving them a little taste of another project just to see how they respond, or if there's synergies around that. And if not, obviously you can move them back to the original idea of what you wanted them to complete, but also kind of be sensitive in understanding that a lot of people have different communication styles. Work is transitioning to remote culture, and it's not the same. When we
Right.
talk to each other, we don't feel each other the same way. So it's all about communicating visions, communicating current projects, and also by talking more about your business in a bigger sense, you're opening up a conversation, an opportunity for students and interns to be interested and say, oh, I've done something similar as a project for school. I know some things around it. So this way you can also learn. So I feel like internship is bringing a little bit of that unknown element to the company, because interns bring a lot of value. Obviously, as a solid employer host, you bring knowledge of the industry and can share how business is done, and many aspects that some of the interns don't have life experience yet around.
Hmm.
So there's definitely a learning dynamic and relationship that goes along with all the internships that exist.
So I think that you hit on something very interesting, because I think a lot of times people think of internships as in-person opportunities. A lot of them think, I don't have a storefront, I don't have a building, an office for someone to walk into, or so I can't use an intern. But the reality is, with everything that happened, over the past 2 years, and just in the world changing in general, virtual is become exceptionally more popular, and then especially when it comes to internships, right?
Absolutely. And the internship is becoming more accessible because usually internships are for someone who's in school or studying or has something else going on. So they just want to enhance their resume, a professional portfolio. So now the fact of traveling is removed. Everyone has ultimately a little bit more time to dedicate to their passion projects or building their skills or even figuring out, how to use new tools. So
Hmm.
if you're using a specific tool, for example, an intern just hadn't had experience, intern can spend 2 hours pretty much browsing internet, looking up at videos, reading up materials, and then boom, there you have it. In 2 hours, they're able to do something that for you might have taken you a lot more time just because you're always thinking about different things, different aspects, and never have like 2 hours of dedicated time to learn something new or absorb something new. So this way, again, you can utilize a lot of interns' capacity
Hmm.
in this virtual environment to build capacity for your business.
Right. And having those virtual interns means that there's zero consumption, for your business. There's no excess consumption. If you're, accustomed to using Zoom or Google Meet, for your meetings, or Microsoft Teams, you can still do that with your interns to still have, the face-to-face interface with them and have those check-ins and kind of keep, on the pulse. You can use text messaging or chats, to stay in contact throughout the day if you feel like you need to have that kind of closeness with them. So there's just so many ways to be able to really, really capitalize on these interns if you use them strategically. And now I want to tell you guys, so I know you're thinking, okay, well, where do I find these interns? So of course, you can go the traditional routes. You can reach out to, colleges and universities, post there. They may allow you to do some, but typically, colleges and universities are going to want uh, a more structure, and they may be more kind of have greater restrictions on how and what and where they place. And then you also still have to deal with kind of putting the whole internship program together yourself. And there's a lot more you have to do. Enter Anna. So
All right.
tell us about your program, because guys, listen up. This is going to be a lifesaver in 2022. So please tell us about
And
your
money
internship
saver
program.
as well. And money
Yes,
saver.
yes.
Absolutely. So the program that I oversee is called CTEISP, and it stands for Career Technical Education Industry Scholars Program. Kind of a long name, but for those that are familiar with just educational system, vocational training is no longer exciting terminology. So it's been switched to career technical education. So, in a sense, it's the same. We are working with vocational schools, and these are high schools, and students that are studying a lot of different things now. So, vocational is no longer just automotive, culinary, or construction. Um, Vocational now is IT, information technology, media and design, business and finance. We have engineering students, we have architecture students, we have students who are studying entrepreneurships. So we have students who want to be accountants. So there's a lot of skills that they have in working with QuickBooks and other systems, Excel spreadsheets, and things like that. So the actual capacity of current career technical education seniors is at the college level, what college level students used to be able to do. So now all of that is really packed into the educational curriculums for these students, and this is our pipeline. We're working with seniors. We are working with the program is funded by Department of Education in New York City, so we have a large access to diverse pool of students. So we are working. All the students are studying in New York City public schools. They are, coming from a lot of different backgrounds. They speak a lot of different languages. So there's already a lot of value that each student has. And the way that the program is structured, we have cohorts. So the next cohort of interns will be starting in March. We are prepping and zooming up for it and getting it ready and getting all employer partners excited. We'll be placing about 700 interns into virtual and in-person internships. In-person internships will be in New York City. But all the other virtual internships are pretty much open for nationwide employers. Employers can be large, small, solar entrepreneurs. I mean, there's so many ways that business is done nowadays. So as long as you are running a business that is minor friendly, and I am highlighting minor friendly because all the students are going to be 17 or just turned 18. So all the content that students are working with and all the business information would definitely need to be minor friendly. So as long as your business has a need for intern for help, and you are able to offer at least 60 hours of work for students over 6 to 8 week period, you're qualified to participate. And to participate, it's a simple application. I'm sure Tanisha will be sharing my information and the program details at the end or in the chat, so you'll see that. But yeah, it's quite easy to get onboarded, get excited. Help is on the way. So really, really fun to be here today. It's kind of timely, end of the year, and yeah.
Right. And I want to think you do, is it 3 cohorts a year? Typically you do like a fall.
It varies. Yeah, it varies,
Okay.
but we do have 3 cohorts a year. And if you become employer host, assuming it's a great working relationship for students and employers, you're welcome to participate and continue participate in additional cohorts.
Right.
Usually, school year cohorts are 60 hours, which means students are available for work from about 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 7 p.m. And because, again, students are still finishing classes, they're in school, and making sure they are on track to graduate is a priority for any program that kind of supports high school students. And for during the summer, students are off from school, so there is a lot more availability. And the program usually extends funding to be between 90 to 150 hours every year. It varies, but we'll know pretty soon what this summer will look like. And in the summer, usually it's from July to August. That's when the students are slotted to work. And yeah, we are a team, a large team. We have program team, we have business development team. We interview every single student to make sure the student is job ready, make sure student has availability and excited to work. We make sure students submit all the paperwork to be set in the system to get paid. So we do all the paperwork, all the logistics, all the things. The only thing employer partners need to do, again, is complete the application, approve timesheets. We do have a couple of orientation, employer orientation sessions that we ask everyone to attend. And that's pretty much it. We do have some evaluations as well as the internship progresses. We want to make sure how students are doing. But as far as other tasks, that's pretty much it. There's no commitment for employers to hire students after the completion of internship. However, oftentimes many do end up hiring students either part-time or for project work. Again, this program can be looked at in many ways. Sort of try before you buy. If you are looking to potentially hire someone part-time, but you're not quite ready, you want to make sure it's a right fit. It's a great way to engage with some of the young talent and entry-level talent and see if that's if there's a good collaboration. And if you have specific tasks that you're tackling, it's also a great program to engage, because remember, this is by offering this opportunity to students, you are extending mentorship, right? You're giving students an opportunity to be participants of a current workforce. And that's a absolutely priceless experience, right? So I'm sure most of us remember our first work experience, first internships. Sometimes those connections become lifetime connections, and these students are definitely excited to have, their first connection, networking connection, and oftentimes these lead to many more opportunities. But it's all the good things to say about the program. It's we've been already doing this for about 5 years, so every year there's continued in funding, and over the last year the program transitioned to be more in the virtual space, offering virtual internships. So that's really exciting, and that's why pretty much we're here talking about what intern can do for you.
All right. Thank you, Anna, so much for sharing that. If you would, please go ahead and just verbally tell everybody how they can connect with you, as well as maybe a website they can check out if they want to know more. Please.
So I have a very long last name, so my email wouldn't work really. I would suggest my phone number is 917-282-2191. You can text me, you can call me. I'll be happy to give you more information. You can reach out to Tanisha, and she'll probably be happy to create a connection. And I think I'll post my details for contact in the comment section.
Oh, that'll be wonderful if you could go ahead and do that. That would be great. So I want to thank you so much for hopping on this call today. I know you're tremendously busy with the current cohort going on and planning for the next, but I thank you for taking the time to share these staffing strategies with everyone. And those of you who are watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching later, take advantage of this opportunity. As entrepreneurs, we're always wishing for help. We're always, wishing we had more money to do this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? This is an opportunity where you get both of your wishes. So do take advantage of it. Do reach out to me. You can DM me. You can send me an email. I can connect you with Anna. Or, of course, I will, put her information in the comments, and she's going to go ahead and drop hers in the comments as well to make sure that we can all connect. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.